Hello everyone. So today we are going to start with the next chapter, that is chapter 3 of section 2 part 2. Okay, the name of the chapter is Life Processes of Living Organisms part 2. We have finished with part 1, that was chapter 2. In that chapter we had studied about nutrients, about aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, then cell division. What are the two types of cell division? Mitosis and meiosis. In this chapter, the topic mitosis and meiosis is very important. You have to understand mitosis and meiosis very thoroughly. Okay, then only you will be able to understand this chapter, some points from this chapter. Okay, before going into the chapter, we will solve some questions which are given on page number 22. Which are the important life processes in living organisms? What are the important life processes? The processes like nutrition, respiration, circulation, excretion, etc. Right? Nutrition, respiration, circulation, excretion, etc. Which life processes are essential for the production of energy required by the body? Okay, for the production of energy, this we had studied in last chapter. Nutrition, circulation, respiration. Next, which are the main types of cell division? What are the differences? What are the main types of cell division? Mitosis and meiosis. The differences we had studied in the last chapter. What is the role of chromosomes in cell division? The answer is to carry genetic information from parent cell to daughter cells, right? To carry genetic information from parent cells to daughter cells. Now, there are some diagrams given. Figure 3.1, life processes. Okay, this question is asked generally. They will give you diagrams and they will ask questions. Okay, which type of life process it is. The first one, A, it is vegetative propagation. The spelling you may see here, vegetative propagation. Okay, second one is sexual reproduction. In hen, it carries out sexual reproduction. Third is seed germination, and fourth is binary fission. Okay, here it is there, binary fission. Okay, so the first one is vegetative propagation, second is sexual reproduction, third is seed germination, and fourth is binary fission. Okay, now there are some more questions. Can you tell what do we mean by maintenance of species? What do you mean by a species? Species means the same kind of organism. The group of organisms with similar characteristics are called as species. The species, we all belong to the same species. In a species, all the organisms are having the same number of chromosomes. In a species, all the organisms have the same number of chromosomes. Okay, we all belong to the same species. So what do you mean by a species? Species means a group of organisms having similar number of chromosomes or having similar characteristics. Now the next question, whether the new organism is genetically exactly similar to earlier one that has produced it. Okay, now it depends whether the organism is produced by sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. The answer is, if the organism undergoes asexual reproduction, they are identical. If the organism undergoes asexual reproduction, there are variations. Okay, I repeat, if the organism undergoes asexual reproduction, they are identical. If the organism undergoes sexual reproduction, there are variations. Okay, there are differences. Who determines whether the two organisms of a species will be exactly similar or not? Who determines? It is determined by the organism. Okay, whether it will undergo sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. The answer is whether the organism is formed by sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. Whether the organism is formed by sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. What is the relationship between the cell division and formation of a new organism of the same species by earlier existing organism? Okay, This is a longer answer. It is there in the notes. You may refer to the notes for that answer. So these are some of the questions which we have solved. You may write the answers in the textbook itself. Okay. Now we will start with the chapter, the first topic, the first definition, that is reproduction. Reproduction. What is reproduction? It is the formation of a new organism of the same species by earlier existing organism is called as reproduction. So for reproduction, there is one organism, from that one organism another organism is produced, but it is of the same species. Okay, that term, the organism of the same species, it should be there in your definition. Okay, so what is reproduction? Formation of a new organism of the same species by earlier existing organism is called reproduction. Now in our syllabus, we are having some methods. We are having the study of some methods of asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Reproduction is of two types, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, there is only one parent. In sexual reproduction, there are two parents. In asexual reproduction, there is no variation. That means the daughter cell which is produced, the next organism which is produced, is identical to that of the parent. Whereas in case of sexual reproduction, there are variations. Variations means there are differences in the parent cell and the parent organism and the next generation. Next, there are no gametes formed in case of asexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, there are gametes formed. Do you remember we had discussed about gametes, the word gametes in the last chapter? Gametes are small cells which are formed by the process of meiosis. Gamete formation by the process of meiosis in the reproductive cells of either male or female. In case of sexual reproduction, there is a male gamete formed or a female gamete formed, whereas in case of asexual reproduction, there are no gametes formed. One organism just divides into two. Next, there is no fertilization in case of asexual reproduction, whereas in case of sexual reproduction, there is fertilization. What is fertilization? It is the fusion of male gamete and female gamete. So in gamete formation by the process of meiosis, in a male body, male gamete is produced, and in a female body, female gamete is produced. And during fertilization, the male gamete fuses with female gamete. So in asexual reproduction, there is no fertilization taking place, whereas in case of sexual reproduction, there is fertilization taking place. In case of asexual reproduction, there is no zygote formed. Now what do you mean by a zygote? The male gamete plus female gamete equals to zygote. Okay, male gamete plus female gamete equals to zygote. Zygote develops into embryo. Embryo develops into a baby. Okay, so in every type of organism, whether it is a baby plant or it is a baby animal. Okay, so fusion of male gamete and female gamete forms a zygote. That zygote divides and redivides to form an embryo. The embryo grows into a baby. So in case of asexual reproduction, there is no zygote formed, whereas in case of sexual reproduction, zygote is formed. In asexual reproduction, it is very fast. Okay, it can multiply in large numbers. The organism could multiply in large numbers by the process of asexual reproduction, whereas in case of sexual reproduction, it is comparatively slow. It takes time. So these are the main differences between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Now in our syllabus, we are having some methods of the study of some methods of asexual reproduction in unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, there are three methods: binary fission, multiple fission and budding. Okay, so what are the three methods which we are having for our study in our syllabus? Unicellular organisms. What do you mean by unicellular? Unicellular means it is made up of only one cell. So in unicellular organisms, there are three methods: binary fission, multiple fission, budding. In multicellular organisms, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation and spore formation. So these are the methods which we are having for elaborate study. So unicellular, binary fission, multiple fission, budding. In multicellular, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation and spore formation. These are the processes which we are having for our study. You may copy this in your notebook. So we are going to start with the topic, that is asexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? Process of formation of a new organism by an organism of the same species without involvement of gametes. Okay, so there is no gamete involvement in case of asexual reproduction. So the formation of a new organism from a previously existing organism without any formation of gametes, it is called as asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, it is divided into two types, which occur in unicellular organisms and which occur in multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, we are having three: binary fission, multiple fission and budding. From those, the binary fission, we will start with binary fission. Binary fission generally occur in prokaryotes, okay, and some protists, prokaryotes and protists. Protist means which belong to kingdom Protista, for example amoeba, paramecium, etc. Now some cell organelles like mitochondria and chloroplast inside the cell also undergo this type of fission, that is binary fission. What is binary fission? One parent cell just divides into two, that is binary fission. Now there are three types of binary fission. First one is simple binary fission, second is transverse binary fission, and third is longitudinal binary fission. Okay, I repeat, first one is simple binary fission, second is transverse binary fission, and the next is longitudinal binary fission. So first we will start with binary fission, simple binary fission. This diagram is very frequently asked. Either they will give you the diagram and ask questions, or otherwise they will give you a question on write a short note on simple binary fission. Okay, so the diagram is very important. So in this case, this is an amoeba. Okay, amoeba could be of any shape. Okay, so this is the parent amoeba. Inside the parent amoeba, every cell organelle, it doubles up. Okay, it doubles up under favorable conditions. Okay, so for this, enough amount of water and nutrients are essential. So when there are favorable conditions, the amoeba goes division by the process of binary fission. Now the parent amoeba, inside the parent amoeba, every cell organelle and every thing which is present in the inside the cell, it doubles up, it gets separated and it divides into two. This type of cell division is called as simple binary fission. Next is transverse binary fission. In transverse binary fission, it is taking place transverse. Okay, transverse, that is, this is transverse. Okay, horizontal, that is said to be transverse binary fission. It is seen in case of paramecium. In case of paramecium, this is the parent paramecium, everything inside it doubles. Okay, and it starts with division. It starts with a horizontal division and it divides into two and they grows up into daughter paramecium. Okay, so this is transverse binary fission. So in simple binary fission, one is just getting divided into two at any plane. Okay, it occurs at any plane, any plane. It could occur at any plane, whereas in case of transverse binary fission, it is taking place horizontally. Okay, and in longitudinal binary fission, it is taking place longitudinally. So this is about simple binary fission and transverse binary fission. Now we will see the next type of binary fission. Now the next is longitudinal binary fission in amoeba. Okay, sorry, in Euglena. Now Euglena is a type of organism which is having a locomotory organ which is called as flagella. This hair-like part, that is called as flagella. This is a single Euglena. It divides, okay, it divides, then the division extends longitudinally, not horizontally. In case of paramecium, it is horizontal. In case of Euglena, it is longitudinal. So the cut goes on longitudinally and it divides into two. This is longitudinal binary fission in case of Euglena. Now we will see, so what are the three types of binary fission? Simple binary fission, then simple binary fission, transverse binary fission, and longitudinal binary fission. It generally occurs in prokaryotes, protists, and some cell organelles like chloroplast and mitochondria. So this is about binary fission. Okay, it is occurring under favorable conditions. Now we may move on to the next type, that is multiple fission. You may draw the diagrams in your notebooks. So now we may move on to multiple fission. Multiple fission occurs under unfavorable conditions. What do you mean by unfavorable conditions? That means when there is no enough amount of water or no enough amount of nutrients, that is said to be unfavorable conditions. In favorable conditions, amoeba undergo binary fission, whereas in case of unfavorable condition, amoeba undergo multiple fission. Now what is multiple fission? At the time of unfavorable conditions, what happens? The pseudopodia, what is meant by pseudopodia? The false feet. Okay, these extensions, the extensions which the parent amoeba has, that is said to be pseudopodia. That pseudopodia shrinks. Okay, it becomes circular and it develops a wall around it. I repeat, the pseudopodia shrinks, it develops a wall around it. With that wall, it is said to be cyst. Inside this cyst, there is cytoplasm and the nucleus. So it develops a wall to prevent itself from the harmful effects of unfavorable conditions. So during unfavorable conditions, what happens to an amoeba? Amoeba shrinks its pseudopodia and gets converted into a cyst. Now what happens inside the cyst? Inside the cyst, the nucleus divides and the cytoplasm divides. It divides. One nucleus as divided into many nuclei. So this is said to be small amoebulae. There is a small word, there is a term which is used in the textbook, that is amoebulae. Okay, so what is amoebulae? It is the small nuclei which are present inside that cyst. So when the favorable conditions return, it remains as it is for several days. Okay, so much time, and after that, when the favorable conditions return, then the cyst breaks and the daughter amoeba comes out. The nuclei comes out, the cytoplasm comes out, and they develop into amoeba. I repeat, first the parent amoeba, it shrinks its pseudopodia, it develops a wall around it and gets converted into cyst. Inside the cyst, there is division of nucleus and cytoplasm, and several nuclei are formed inside that cyst. When the favorable conditions return, the cyst breaks and the daughter nuclei comes out, and those daughter nuclei, each and every nuclei, they develop into amoeba. This is multiple fission. Okay, question on multiple fission is a 3-mark question, a frequently asked question. You have to draw the diagram and write the paragraphs which are given in the textbook. Both the paragraphs you have to write. Next is budding in case of yeast. Yeast is a unicellular organism, so unicellular fungus. Okay, so this is the parent yeast cell. It develops an outgrowth, it gets a bulge, and the nucleus extends, it divides into two. Okay, and a new bud like extension is formed in case of yeast. This bud, it separates and forms two new cells, but they are attached to each other. They could either remain attached to each other or they could get separated, and thus two new yeast are formed. Like this, several yeast cells are produced. So from one parent cell, several yeast cells could be produced by the process of budding. Okay, so this is in unicellular organisms. First one is binary fission, second one is multiple fission, and third is budding. Okay, now we may move on to asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms. We are having 5 methods in our syllabus. First one is fragmentation, second is regeneration, third is budding, fourth is vegetative propagation, and fifth is spore formation. The first one you may see, that is fragmentation, which is shown by the organism Spirogyra. Spirogyra is an algae. They are filamentous organisms. Filamentous means they are in the form of filaments. Okay, when there is enough of water and nutrients, that means under favorable conditions, these filaments of Spirogyra, they undergo fragmentation. Undergo fragmentation means their filamentous body, they get cuts, they breaks up into different fragments. Here this one fragment, this one Spirogyra has got split up into two different fragments, and each of these fragments are able to develop into complete Spirogyra. Okay, so they break up in under favorable conditions. That means when there is enough of water and nutrients, Spirogyra splits, Spirogyra breaks up into different fragments, and each of those fragments are able to develop into a single fiber of single filament of Spirogyra. This process is called as fragmentation. Okay, now you are having this diagram of Spirogyra in your syllabus in practicals. Okay, so the diagram is important. All these diagrams are very important. You have to draw all the diagrams in your notebook. Okay, now draw. So these are the next processes. The first one is regeneration. So we have studied about fragmentation in multicellular organisms, that is in case of Spirogyra. Now the next is regeneration in case of Planaria. Now you have learned about, you have heard about regeneration in case of lizard. If you cut off the tail of a lizard, that it could, the body of that lizard, it could grow a tail again. Okay, that is because some regenerative cells which are present in their body. Now you should note that from a tail the body of the lizard cannot be grown, but from the body of the lizard the tail could be grown, because the regenerative cells which are present in the body of the lizard. So there are some particular regenerative cells which should be there for regeneration or regrowth. In case of Planaria, if its body is cut into three pieces, in here in this diagram it starts from here, this is the parent Planaria, its body is cut into three pieces, that means one here, that means the head, the body and the tail. Okay, these are the parts of the Planaria. From the body part it could develop into a complete Planaria, this body part into complete Planaria. You may see the body part into complete Planaria. This is the head part getting converted into complete Planaria, and the tail part getting converted into complete Planaria. I repeat, the Planaria, the body of the Planaria, not necessarily three parts. Here where they have given an example of three parts. The body is getting divided into three parts. This is the parent Planaria. The body part, okay, the middle part gets converted into complete Planaria by the process of regeneration. Now here the head part is getting converted into complete Planaria, and here the tail part is getting converted into complete Planaria. This is regeneration in case of Planaria, which is possible with the help of some regenerative cells. By the regeneration they are able to produce the complete organism. This also occurs in some conditions. Some conditions are necessary for this process to occur. Now the next is budding in case of Hydra. Now you are having budding in yeast cell also, and in case of Hydra also. Whenever you are having a question on budding, you should see whether they have asked budding in unicellular organism or budding in multicellular organism. If the question is on budding in unicellular organism, it is yeast, that is unicellular, and if it is in multicellular organism, then it is in Hydra. Okay, now you may see this is the parent Hydra. It develops a bud on its body. Okay, it develops a bud on its body. The layers inside, the dermal layers, that means that these layers, derma means skin, the complete dermal layers, the whatever is there inside, it is continuous with this. Okay, it forms a continuous layer into the bud. Okay, into the bud it forms a continuous layer. The dermal layers are in continuation with the bud. That bud develops into a small Hydra, which is said to be a nascent Hydra. That nascent Hydra could either remain stuck to the parent cell, but after a particular amount of growth, it gets detached from the body of the parent cell. Okay, generally it gets detached from the body of the parent cell. So this is the parent hydra. There is a bud produced. That bud is developing into a nascent hydra. After its complete growth, it gets detached from the body of the parent hydra. Okay, so this is about budding in case of hydra. Now the next is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation means any vegetative part of the plant. Vegetative part means whether it is root, stem, leaf, etc. They are the vegetative parts. Okay, the reproductive part is the flower. Okay, the reproductive part of the plant is the flower. The vegetative parts include root, stem, leaf, etc. Just like we are having somatic cells and germ cells. Somatic cells are present all over the body. Germ cells are present in the reproductive system. Okay. Similarly, in case of plants, the vegetative cells undergo reproduction. That means if you plant that part of the body, of the plant body, it could develop into a new plant. That is called as vegetative reproduction. First is in case of potatoes. In potatoes, there are some depressions on the surface of the potatoes. If you might have observed, they might germinate at times. You might have seen the germination also. They are called as eyes. Okay, those eyes of potato, if you plant it, okay, if you plant it in the soil, then it could develop into a new potato plant. So the eyes of a potato could undergo vegetative propagation to develop into a new plant. The next is bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is a plant whose leaves, on the margins of the leaves there are some buds. On the margins of the leaves of bryophyllum there are some buds. Those buds are able to develop into a new plant. That means if you plant the leaf into the soil, then that from that leaf a new plant will develop. That is bryophyllum. In case of sugarcane and grasses, they are having buds on their nodes. Nodes means they are thickenings in between. If you might have observed a sugarcane, the sugarcane, this is a sugarcane, they are having nodes in between. These parts are said to be nodes. From the nodes, they get buds and they develop into a new plant. Next is in carrot and radish. In carrot and radish, their roots, if you plant the roots of carrots and radish, then it could develop into a new plant. This part is very, very important. This could be asked. The questions are asked generally from vegetative propagation part. They will give you the diagram, or they will give you which part develops into, which part of the plant is able to undergo vegetative propagation. Okay. So the next one is spore formation. It is generally seen in fungi. Here I have given an example of mucor, which is a type of fungi. This is a fungal body. If you observe the mucor under a microscope, you are able to observe it like this. You are able to see filamentous parts. Those filamentous parts is called as hyphae, and the rhizoids, the root parts are called as rhizoids. They are false roots. Okay, they are called as rhizoids, and they develop a filament part. At the top of it there are balloon like structures which are called as sporangium. Inside this sporangium there are spores. Inside the sporangium there are spores, which under favorable condition they break open, the spores come out, and those spores, wherever they fall, they are able to develop into new fungi. I repeat, this is the body of a fungus. The filament part is called as hyphae, the main filament. The filament parts which are coming up, they are having balloon like structures which is called as sporangium. Inside the sporangium there are spores. At the time of favorable conditions, those sporangium breaks, the spores are dispersed. They fall on several surfaces. If it falls on a bread, on that bread the spore could develop into a new fungi. Okay, so that is spore formation. So here we have finished with all the types of asexual reproduction in unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms we studied about binary fission, budding and multiple fission. In multicellular organisms we studied about fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation and spore formation. Okay, in binary fission there are of three types: simple binary fission, transverse binary fission and longitudinal binary fission. Simple binary fission in amoeba, transverse binary fission in paramecium, longitudinal binary fission in euglena. Then we studied about multiple fission in amoeba, then about budding in yeast, fragmentation in Spirogyra, regeneration in Planaria, okay, then budding in Hydra, then vegetative propagation in potatoes, bryophyllum, sugarcane and grasses, and carrot and radish, and the last one is spore formation in fungi. That is, here they have given the example of mucor. Now, generally they ask questions on short note on binary fission and multiple fission. On binary fission and multiple fission. For binary fission, you have to write these two paragraphs. Okay, the second paragraph and the third paragraph. From prokaryotes till euglena by longitudinal binary fission. Okay, that much you have to write. Next is multiple fission. If you are having a question on multiple fission, you have to write these two paragraphs with diagram. Okay, it is a 3-mark question, very important question. Generally short notes are asked on these parts only, and the other parts, other types of division, other types of reproduction, they ask objective questions only, but they are very, very important. Okay, so for the homework for you today, you may write the homework. You have to draw all the diagrams. Okay, you have to draw all the diagrams of asexual reproduction. Draw all the diagrams of asexual reproduction, that is diagram 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, 3.10 and 3.11. All these diagrams you have to draw. That will be your homework. Okay, thank you.